All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chig from Green and Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. That's right, you're through to the filthy casual and the hardcore show with my co-host Ola. Say hello to the people, Ola.
Yes, we're back. It's been a minute. It's been a while. A lot of things has happened. A lot of things is happening, and a lot of things is gonna happen. So we're gonna be talking about it on here. Glad to be back. How you been?
Yeah, not bad, brother. Not bad. Just working, hustling, trying to do what I do. How about yourself?
Yeah, life on the road is difficult, but you got to do it. Always on the road. I came back from South Wales on a long old journey yesterday. Had to do some deliveries down there. Left so early in the morning, about 5:30. Didn't get back until nearly 9:45 last night. So that's
Okay.
that's life on the road. Always on the road, but
Yeah, I ain't gonna
you
lie.
know,
You always pack on the miles. I don't know how you do it, to be honest, but fair play to you.
yeah, bills have to pay. You know, so yeah, got to do it. That's what we got to do to put food on the table, man. Kids are getting expensive every day, mate. You know
Of
what I mean?
course, of course. I can imagine. All right, let's get into this because I think we've both talked a lot through WhatsApp about stuff that's going on in UFC and boxing, and I think there's only one place to start. And if you've read the title of the video, you know we've got to start here, and that is Mr. TJ Dillashaw, someone who has earned a lot of praise in the past from certainly myself, and I know you, just for his two Cody Garbrandt fights alone. Not
Yeah.
to mention, um, just I've always felt like he was a good fighter and just someone who I thought was the ultimate professional, someone who I felt actually done well by moving away from Team Alpha Male and that kind of loudish sort of atmosphere. And it turns out he's a dirty cheat. There's only way you can say it.
Yeah, man. I was so disappointed. So not even just disappointed. I was livid, man. When I heard about this, I thought it's a shame because such a talented fighter. I mean, some of the stuff he's done over the past couple years, losing to Dominic Cruz, then having to come back and doing it the way he did it with Cody Garbrandt twice. I thought, oh, there's something about this guy that you just like, and his personality is it tell you what, it gives us the impression that he's a very, very hardworking
Exactly.
fighter,
Yeah.
and you find out that he's on EPO, and EPO ain't even one of those that you can mistakenly get in a taco or get
Yeah.
in a
Take his
supplement.
compliment.
You've
Because
got to
I
juke
must
this
admit,
shit into your body, man.
I must admit, it didn't really occur to me. And I initially remember asking you, and I thought, why have I heard of EPO before? And then
Mm,
I remember Lance Armstrong got
there
popped
you go.
for
Yeah,
doing the exact same thing.
yeah.
And you remember literally the way they crucified Lance Armstrong for doing what he did. And I thought, oh yeah, and mind you, he's riding a bike. TJ is punching people in the face, kicking people in the legs, the
You,
body for a living. This is,
I mean, what
this is
it,
attempted murder, in my opinion.
exactly? He hasn't made a level playing field at all for the people he's fought against, the people that he's knocked out. I think it's really, really unfair. It's cheating at the highest level. I mean, this could be even worse than John Jones, if you ask me, because you really you don't get EPO through tainted supplements, like I said earlier on. It's something you have to inject in your body, like knowingly, and to even say none of his coaches, his team members, none of the people that was responsible for his diet, his food, none of those people knew about this stuff. So he's been going into hiding, having to buy it, and you know there's somebody, I think he's Marlon Moraes' coach, that said he knows 5 people in the UFC right now, today, that's popping, that's injecting EPOs. And the UFC is going to be having a word. So this is one of those situations where
I hate it when people say that though. Because you know that Ali guy was saying, Usman's manager was saying, oh, he's also Cody's manager, and he was saying, oh, he knows at least 5 other champions. Stop saying that or snitch. Do one of them.
I mean, they live in the whole snitching thing to John Jones, you know. So,
let's be real. In my opinion, and I've not heard anyone else say this. In my opinion, that's a John Jones snitching. Surely.
And remember, as I said to you, well, I said, boy, this is the angle that we have to explore because how comes? I mean, if you look how long TJ, because the question now is, how long has TJ been doing this?
Exactly.
The question is no more, all right, he got caught. It's how long have you been doing this?
Apparently, and this is, USADA are not exactly the most trustworthy, but I will say this.
Right.
According to Jeff Nowitzki yesterday, he came out and he said that they tested samples from the 2 Cody fights, and both of them came back negative. So he wasn't using EPO, at least in those fights.
In those fights, okay. That's a. I mean, like you said, nobody really trusts these guys, Nowitzki and USADA. They took a lot of hit for that John Jones situation to the point where they lost a lot of faith. People lost a lot of faith in them and what they say. So, how much of what they say can you take on face value? But at the end of the day, if they said they tested those samples and the samples came back negative, then you got to give Dillashaw, you got to give him a benefit of the doubt in that situation there. But this is the same organization that's talking about they lost samples for Brock. And if you're an organization that's losing samples, I don't know if I want to believe you. You see what I'm trying to say? How can you lose samples, but you can go back to last couple of years and find TJ Dillashaw's couple of samples versus Cody Garbrandt, but you lost fucking Brock's sample. Like I don't know. You don't know who to believe. But this just stinks. The whole thing stinks. I mean, Bisping and Matt Serra actually smelt a rat when Dillashaw relinquished the title, because they said nobody relinquishes their title if you've gone through wars to get that belt.
Bisping's podcast, apart from Brilliant Idiots with Charlemagne and
I fuck with those 2 podcasts heavy.
Is my favorite podcast. I love it. I love the dynamic between him and his co-host, and I love it because, like you say, to me, they say it the realest. And I remember before this whole thing was confirmed,
they don't sugarcoat nothing.
He was just basically like, listen, I smell a rat, because you, like you just said, you don't relinquish your title unless you know you did this thing. Like he's saying, you can't say that for sure, but you don't do that if you know that you're innocent, because it's true. Who the heck voluntarily says, you know what, this thing that I've been working so hard for, here, let me take it because I don't want to hold up the division? Nah, there was definitely a rat, and of course it must. Thinking about it now, and I know it's easy to look at it now, it was always EPO, because if you think about it, why would you do that? Unless, even if it was a tainted supplement where you thought, oh, maybe I took something dodgy and stuff like that, you'd back yourself to try and defend that.
Yeah.
But you must have knowingly said, you know what? I know I need to cut weight.
I'm guilty as hell here.
And I need to make sure that my engine is still the same. I know how to take EPO and make sure it covers up. let me do it in this particular fight. And the funny thing is, he's still got starched in 30 seconds. So what
He's still, oh my God. I mean, that's the worst. That's the worst insult. And I think that's what made it even more difficult for him to accept that loss. Because he's thinking, how have I gone through all of this shit? Juke myself up with EPO and still got knocked the fuck out in 32 seconds by somebody in a lower division than me. Like, the whole thing, if you look at it, there's no bigger L this year than that.
Oh yeah,
that's the biggest L.
I agree with you. There is nothing anybody could do in that cage that is a bigger L than this TJ Dillashaw.
No bigger L than that. I mean, it's the biggest L.
You cut down weight to try and make this fight. You successfully cut down that weight. You got starched in 30 seconds. Then it turns out you were juiced to high hell, and ran for 2 years. Like, what on earth?
It's an insult to me. It's an insult to the people that got to be champ on their own proper merits. To people like DC, to people like Amanda Nunes, people that became champ properly. You know what I mean? People like Conor McGregor. They done it the right way. They done it the proper way. They done it the clean way. Why do you want to inject yourself to go and be champ? I mean, it's an insult to the sport and to the people that actually achieved that status of being champ or two-weight division champions. And I think you know, obviously he's come out on his Instagram to say, you know, he's guilty, he's sorry, he apologized to the fans and to the people that, you know, his coaching team and all of that. And, you know, only time will tell how long, you know, how people gonna forgive him. I mean, people are riding with John Jones right now, and John Jones ain't even passed the fucking test since he's been back, you know. So they're still detecting the old shit in the shit. So, you know, and people are fucking with him, you know. So if John Jones is fighting, I'm watching it. I'm not gonna say because he's failed of a test or whatever, I'm not gonna watch John Jones fight, because we know how much of a talented fighter he is. And I know if TJ comes back and is clean and they do all the tests, and, you know, it's gonna take a while to get everybody back on side. He's lost a few fans' faith, but it's gonna take a while to get everybody back on side. And the work starts now with him being on ban and just being in touch with his core fans, which I'm one of them. I've just been disappointed in you know, in what he's done, and hopefully, you know, time is gonna heal the whole situation. And so he's just tarnished his legacy, though. It's not something anybody. He's put that asterisk on next to his name. On everything. He's put that asterisk. And you know what we say about people, you know, fighters that got asterisks next to their name. You don't really give them that Hall of Fame inductee if they actually gonna get it. And let me take this quick opportunity to congratulate our very own Bisping for getting inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. You know, he even said it that he didn't even know. He just thought it was a nominee. It's so funny, man. That guy is so funny. He said he thought it was a nominee, but everybody around him started telling him, "No, mate, you know, you've just been inducted into the Hall of Fame," and it's a very, very important moment for him. So yeah, very, very happy for him being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Only very, very few people is in that category, and to be in there with some of the very best, I think you know, says a lot about the career he's had.
Yeah, I agree. Well deserved. We're talking about someone who was approaching journeyman status after a few losses that he had, and then came in against Luke Rockhold, who I cannot stand. I'll be honest, I can't stand him. At 2 weeks' notice, after being knocked out by the man previously as well, it was a brave thing to do.
Yeah.
And then he just thought, you know what? I made a mistake in that first fight, but I've got him. I know his number. I know he likes dropping his right hand and it's susceptible to the left. And I'm going to knock him out through that method. The man called how he would knock him out. And he knocked him out exactly in that fashion.
You got to give him kudos for that. It's impressive, you know what he's done, and yeah, you can't. I mean, with one eye as well, man. Like Jesus Christ, like you know who does that? Who does combat sports with one eye, man? Like only Bisping, and yeah. You just got to praise his career and look back when you look back at it, you have fond memories of what he's done. And Dan Hardy is another one. He didn't quite get up to that level, but he's one that I really liked. Yeah. But maybe one day, everything is given for the sport is going to be recognized by UFC as well.
Him and Paul Felder, Dan Hardy and Paul Felder. I know Dan Hardy is retired now, but Paul, they kind of remind me of each other a little bit because both were good fighters. Both, I think, are actually better pundits and better analysts to me, because I really like it when Paul Felder does a lot of the analyst work. And my gosh, that guy's a fucking warrior, because my man had a collapsed lung and he's already back in training. I think it was 4 weeks after the damn. Oh, who the heck does that? Who does that?
It's incredible. Great. It's incredible.
And he won that fight as well. That his lung was collapsed in. It's just, the man's nuts. But so sometimes you can't hate on this warrior spirit. And speaking of warrior spirit, obviously we did touch on the whole Ferguson situation at the very, very early stages, where we were both wondering why Ferguson turned down the opportunity at Max. And then obviously we later on found out that he had some personal issues with regards to, quite honestly, probably brain trauma.
Yeah, that's a very it's a difficult topic to touch, because nobody really knows the impact of the brain, the trauma that the brain has to take in combat sport. And like they said, this sport is so new that they've not really done proper testing to see the effects that that it has on people and the fighters. So if you look at Ferguson's case, for example, I mean, his wife had to go through a lot of shit, and even took an injunction against him. On some of the things that was going on with Ferguson. So it's a tough one to take, and he's a genuine fighter. He's a warrior. He's given so much for the sport, but then he does a lot of self-healing as well. He's not someone that really goes out to get surgery and all of that. He does a lot of stuff by himself and looks after himself. So right now, I think he's back. It looks like he's back. He's been training on his Instagram, been watching some of his Instagram stuff, and he's been putting in work on Instagram. So hopefully he'll be back better than ever. Tony Ferguson is one that I definitely want to see with Khabib before Khabib even gets to fight anybody else. That is a fight that we have to see. And shout out to Mr. VP75. He's just dropped in $10. $10,
That VP. Guy. Thank you. Legend.
My guy.
Right.
Man.
Legend.
Man.
Legend. So, thank you, brother.
Yeah, man. And big up to Benga Akinola, talking about the Nigerian assassin in the chat. So it's one of those things that we need to see. The fight fans need to see Khabib and Ferguson. When it's going to happen, I mean, we got to wait till Khabib comes back from suspension, and we'll see what happens from there. But right now, there's a lot of fights in the offing. There's a lot of things that's cooking at the moment, and let's roll nicely into 236.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. This
Um,
is your show, brother. I'm here as the casual. Go.
uh, we've got a very nice card. The card is all right. I wouldn't say it's super packed. Um, the people that I'm really looking forward to on there, Eric Anders versus Khalil Roundtree. We've
Mm.
got Alan Juban, Dwight Grant. We got Ovin Semperu versus Nikita Krylov.
Mhm.
Kevin Gastelum versus Israel Stylebender, our very own Stylebender. Adesanya,
Tough
Max
fight.
Holloway, and Dustin Poirier. Now, the
Tough.
ones that I really, really want to look at, it's got to be Kelvin Gastelum versus Adesanya and Max Holloway, the co-main event and the main event. I
Of
mean,
course. It's a 2-fight card, really. There are a couple of fun fights on there, but everyone's tuning in for the last two. Let's be
yeah.
real.
And a quick shout out to Mr. Bemiga Akinola. What's up? He said, and he's donated £5 to the show. We just
Big
got
up, big
five
up,
pound
big up. Thank you,
donation
man.
to the show. So big up Wenga Akinola for that one. I
Thank you,
appreciate
brother.
it. So we have to look at Kevin Gastelum. The first thing that we have to address is the little interview that he did with Luke Thomas, and he came out saying he killed Kevin Anderson Silva, and we know, if you remember, after that fight, we were kind of disappointed that he didn't really put him away
Nah.
like how he's supposed to put him away, and we thought, or we were hoping, not thinking, we were hoping that he was gonna beat up Silva
Make
so
it stop.
bad that
Yeah,
Silva wasn't even gonna come back. He wouldn't even think
yeah,
of fighting again.
yeah.
And here we now have Anderson Silva thinking of fighting. Who was it? I got his name down here. I'll get back to you in a minute. But
Mm.
Silva's thinking of coming back, and when Anderson Silva is thinking of coming back, you just think to yourself like, come on, you didn't really put him away, and
Yeah,
now you got John Jones coming at you saying he's gonna make you call him daddy by the third round because you couldn't get past 44-year-old Anderson Silva. It took you 5 rounds. You went the distance with him, and I think people are still kind of, as much as we want a Stylebender to finish him. You still have to respect Anderson Silva's gangster.
I
He's,
think I
he's
think
still
you're
very
right.
very potent.
I think you're right. I think the thing that I found disappointing, I guess, because obviously anyone who's watching this, me and you are both Nigerians, so
Yeah.
naturally, part of us, no matter what we say, even though we try and be unbiased when we do these shows, let's be real, we're rooting for people like Usman. We're rooting for people like Starbender. So, but I must admit, if I'm being honest, I'm not all the way convinced about Starbender. Not just yet.
Yeah.
Not just yet. For me, actually, that's why I find this fight particularly interesting, because I actually think this is his first real test. Because Brunson, you could argue, was a broken man by the time he fought
Yep.
him. Anderson Silva, as much of a great as he was, like you say, he's 44 years old. I don't care how great you are, by 44, you're going to be slower. At the very least, you're not going to be the fighter you once were. Whereas Gaslam, arguably, he's fighting better than he's ever done before. Yes, he's lost a few fights here and there. In a way, he's almost the Dustin Poirier of that division.
He is, and I agree with you 100%. He's one of those guys. I mean, looking back at who Anderson Silva is fighting, he's fighting Jared Cannonier, and Jared Cannonier is a mother, is a
Yeah.
beast. You know, he's a real beast. And if you look at, you know,
I think Silva said that he wants that to be his last fight because it's in Brazil, isn't it?
yeah, it's in Brazil, so it's one of those. There's a lot of people on that list as well. We'll get to that in a little while. But if you look at the, you know, Bisping is, I mean, Kelvin Gastelum is coming back off that China win, putting Bisping out and sending him into retirement, and Israel Adesanya is coming off the win of Derek Brunson and Anderson Silva. So, you know, they're both in that realm where I think this fight makes sense. And whoever wins this fight is going to end up facing Whittaker. You know, so it's a fun fight. But Gastelum scares me because he packs a lot of power. He might not get to touch you a lot, but when he does, he touches man with power. He hits like a he hits like a mat truck. And Stylebender is one of the most elusive fighter, and you to say it reminds you of Anderson Silva in the way that he ducks everything, or Wonder Boy. I would say it reminds me of Yoto Machida. Yoto Machida is another one that it reminds you can rarely hit this guy, but people do catch him, and if if they get caught, it could be lights out. And when Gastelum hits you, it's not coming to just touch you on a jab level. It's coming to turn your lights out.
Well, look what he did to Bisping in Bisping's last fight.
Yeah, you know. So when he touches people, it's coming to touch. It's coming to put the lights out. But you know, we're both rooting for Israel. We both want Israel to win, and I think he does it. And I actually think it's another decision fight. It's going to go all the way, and Israel will put in more volume of work. It's going to look busier, and I think he'll get the decision. So I think it's a 5-round fight, and I'm looking at Israel on that one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I funny enough, I was just talking to someone at work about this as well. I do think, to be honest, even though I wasn't altogether that impressed with the Anderson Silva fight, I do think there is another gear for Israel to slip into. That's the one thing I will say. Maybe it's an untapped gear, I don't know, but I think there is another gear for him to slip into. Because listening to him this week, what he said is that, you know, he gets the criticism, but what people don't understand is he's not trying to break his hand on these people's skin. He's not trying to break his leg, trying to hit people as hard as he can. He's just trying to get through these fights as unscathed as possible.
Oh yeah, he takes the least damage. It takes the least damage
and arguably, John Jones does the same thing.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time John Jones, other than DC, I can't remember the last time he knocked someone out. No. He just tries to get through these fights unscathed. And to be honest, that's a smart way of fighting. And I know people, it's not a popular way. The Floyd Mayweather type of fighting is not a popular way of fighting. But if you really understand the art of fighting, and for me, I'm a boxing guy. So I always find Floyd Mayweather's fights intriguing because I like the way he fights. I like how elusive he is. I like how he thinks. I like thinking fighters. And for all of John Jones's issues, when he fights, I love watching him because he's a thinking fighter. He thinks to himself, all right, cool. I'm going to adjust. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to get through it. And I find that type of psychology interesting. And I think that's why I like fighting so much because I like the idea of, looking at your opponent and in a way it's a chess match.
Yeah.
Okay, you know that person is a wrestler, so how are you going to combat that? You know that person is a striker and you're the wrestler, how are you going to combat that? You know that somebody's a big puncher, but you're more of an elusive guy, how are you going to combat that? And that's what I like about, for me, I found the Fury Wilder fight fascinating the whole way through. I know people were bored until the end, but I found that shit fascinating the entire way through because to me, it was such a clash of styles that it was interesting trying to watch Wilder try and figure out Fury and see what he could do to figure him out. And then even when he thought he figured him out, Fury rose up like he was the Undertaker and thought, and you could see Wilder think, "Oh my gosh, what have I got to do to put this guy away?" And I love that type of almost that mental warfare that people have to go through during a fight. So I love that stuff. I'm a sucker for that type of stuff.
Yeah, no, come off me. I mean, to me, it's all about controlling the distance, and these guys are so good at it. John Jones, you just said just now, people like Conor, people like Stylebender. It's all about controlling the distance, and these guys are masters at it. So when you think of the skills they bring to the game, it's second to none. And these guys are the masters at what they do. So I think that's what's going to get it done. I mean, the first thing for him is to reduce the way that I see it going, or the task that I see that he has to undertake is to reduce the mobility of Kevin Gastelum, because Kevin Gastelum is just going to bite through the gum shield and keep moving forward. He's a guy that is always moving forward, and it don't matter what you're throwing at him, he's coming at you. So he has to reduce his mobility, and once he does that, and a lot of that work as well could be done in a clinch. And if he gets the clinch right and controls him that way, because look, Israel Adesanya's takedown defense is one of the best in the UFC that we know of today. So, but Kelvin is going to be looking to change that. He'd want to take the fight to the ground, because that's where he's going to have a lot of joy against someone like Israel, because the reach is in there. He can't control the distance. He's going to want to come forward, so he's going to need to take the fight to the ground. There's two places that this fight is going to be won and lost, and a lot. The way that I see it is the volume of work. So whoever puts in the more volume of work, because I don't think that I think Stylebender could get knocked out. I don't think Stylebender is going to knock anybody out. I just think he's just going to try and put it out, get it done by decision. So,
and that is my worry, because we have seen him knocked out, albeit in kickboxing before.
Yeah.
So
it's possible. It's possible.
We do know that the chin is not the greatest, but he hit. Let me give him some credit. And since he's gone over to MMA, he's undefeated. So
16 fights undefeated.
So let's see. I back Israel. I want Israel to win. I think he could win, because I think he will go up a level. I think you will see a better performance than the Anderson Silva fight. But this is his first, to me, real test. Yeah. All the people he's beat so far, he was supposed to beat. This is more of a 50-50.
I mean, if you want to get to the champion, this is the path. This is the path you have to take.
Yeah,
this is the path you have to take. This fight right here is like Arsenal Napoli, and they're going to play the champion. You have to go
100%.
through. You have to go through paths like this.
It's a great comparison. This to me is, you're right. This to me is Arsenal going to Napoli with a 2-0 lead. Arsenal are supposed to win. They are supposed to win. And if they have ambitions to win the trophy, they've got to beat teams like this.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
This is not, they're no chumps. And Napoli represents a real Kesslin Gausman type of threat.
Exactly. It's tough. They got grit. They can knock you the fuck out. They can hurt you. So,
and obviously people will be gassed.
It's not a foregone conclusion.
People will be gassed because of our showing at home. We're a beast at home. We can beat anyone at home. I'm convinced of that. But as bad as we are away, Napoli are very strong at home. And people forget this. But we're digressing into football now. So let's
move on swiftly to Max Holloway.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's go
let me get your angle on that, actually. Let me get your angle on that, especially with Max Holloway moving from featherweight to lightweight division. What you think?
For me, I think this is a good fight. It's a good fight for so many different type of reasons. As I said in the previous assessment, I think Poirier is the Gastrom of that division. A good fighter who's been there for some time. He's still only 30 in a way, he's still quite young. But you have to think that this is his only real, as stacked as that lightweight division is, this is his only real shot at a title. And he can't blow it. I can't see him getting back there if he doesn't take this opportunity now. So to me, I think that he's going to fight like his life depends on it, as he should. Plus, he has that psychological edge because he's beaten Max before. Now, if we go back to that first fight, that was Max's debut in UFC. He was 20 years old, green, and even if you watch the fight, to be honest, he was winning until Dustin Poirier took him to the ground. And to be honest, as much as we say that Israel has great takedown defense, so does Max these days.
Yeah.
You don't take Max down very easily.
No, you gotta work for that. If you're gonna try and take him down, he's got far superior takedown defense for that division.
100%. And I think if you look at boxing skill wise, Max is much faster. I mean, let's be real here. He's coming from the division below, so he's going to be a lot quicker. I think he'll be stronger for stepping up. Usually when people step up a division, they do well. See Amanda Nunes, see Daniel Cormier. These are two instances where people have stepped up and they've done very well. Even see Dustin Poirier himself. He stepped up from featherweight and started starching motherfuckers. So it does.
Let's not leave our showtime. Let's not leave our showtime.
See what I'm saying? So when people step up divisions, it does make a difference. And we both know Max was killing himself to make featherweight. I could see him potentially dropping this belt, that featherweight belt, very, very soon. And maybe Ortega running that show, because I think Ortega's the best out of those featherweights, in my opinion, anyway. Which just shows you how good Max is, because Max starched him. so that shows you how good Max is. For me, I think Max, much like you said with Israel, I think volume wins this fight. Yeah. The only thing I would say about Max, and my only weakness that I see in him, and me being a boxing guy, I would pick this out, is I don't think he has the greatest of head movements. Even in the Ortega fight, which I thought he was
He took some punches, yeah.
Took some shots.
Yeah, he will take shots, yeah.
I do think if he does that against Poirier, that's going to be real dangerous, because Poirier does have a lot of power. I don't think Poirier is particularly quick from what I've seen, but I do think he packs a punch. And I think Max is going to have to be clever, in and out, kicks, hit punches, strikes, move out the way. And I think Poirier will just be pressuring him. It'll be a pressure fight. It'll be pressure versus someone who's trying to just pop, hit and move, hit and move, hit and move. But I think he'll do it successfully. And me, just so I could shut up real quick and hand over to you, I think that Max will win this. Comfortable decision victory. 5-rounder, a hard, grueling 5-rounder, but I think Max will win this.
This is where I go against the grain.
Okay.
Poirier has done Max before.
Yep.
He knows how to beat Max. He's got power. He's established in that division. He's one of those that he's been so hungry at getting to the top. Even though Max wants to be a champ, Poirier wants to be recognized once again in that division. And if he has to get through Max to do it, I think he's more focused than anything. He wanted to go through Nate to get there. And Nate was a very, very difficult opponent. The exact opponent like Max Holloway. If we're going to, both of them can take punishment. Both of them very, very difficult to put away. And Poirier has been there before. He's outfought both of them before. I don't think Max will probably outwork Poirier, in terms of volume, like you said, but who can get the job done? Who's got the actual power to knock a man out? I think Poirier has that power, and to me, I'm gonna go with Poirier on this one. I think you have to pay respect to Max. It's never not lost. It's never missed weight at 145. So I think there's still a few situations for him to handle in the featherweight division. I think him and McGregor, they need to run something back at 145. Both of those two motherfuckers, they need to do it again. It's a fight that I want to see at 145. Even at 155, I wouldn't mind seeing both of them at 155 if Max chooses to stay at 155. So you gotta give him credit in that realm. But I can't see him beating Poirier. But it's gonna be interesting tonight. I'm gonna be up. I keep trying to get you to do one of these reaction videos when the fight's done, but you're always too lean up by that time. You're too done. And shout out to VP75. He's 6:30 where he is right now watching us at 6:30 in the morning. Like, shout out to VP75 for that. Wow. Man's up at 6:30 in the morning watching us talking about combat sports. So shout out to that guy, and shout out to everybody else that's in the chat room that's viewing us right now. So I mean, it's going to be a late one. Do I see it being a 5-round? Yeah, but at the same time, I also see a TKO from Poirier. So it'd be interesting to see how it pans out.
Okay, fair enough. I'm surprised you picked Poirier, I must admit.
Yeah, I like Poirier. I like what he stands for. I like his work ethics, and I think he's a fighter that's been really deserving of getting to the top. And hopefully, not that I don't like Max, because I like Max a lot. I'm a big fan of Max. And this is the thing with people: just because you like one fighter doesn't mean you can't expect another fighter to get the job done. We just have to be objective and give a very, very honest account of how we think the fight's gonna pan out. And I think based on what we've seen with Poirier, I think he can get it done. I think he will get it done. So only time will tell.
Fair enough. Okay. I suppose on to the next one. What have you got in your notes?
Right. We have Lobov and Paulie. Remember, I said to you I was going to talk about Artem Lobov. Did you see his face when he was talking to Paulie, and how Paulie ran away, gave him a little slap because the promoter said, "Look, we're going to do this respectfully. We're going to have a nice little, face off and all of that." They had the face off, and just as you think everything is going on smoothly, Paulie slaps him, drops in a little slap there, and I kept thinking to myself, like, why does this guy keep getting slapped by everybody? Khabib did it. Khabib slapped him, and now he just been slapped by Paulie. Like, he's everybody's slapping bitch. Everybody keeps slapping the fuck out of this guy. So it's crazy. There was a little bit of melee that went on there, and you could see Anthony Rumble Johnson holding Paulie with one arm. This guy is huge. Have you seen the size of Rumble Johnson lately? The size of this guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh
did you see? My man was holding Paulie back with one hand and still
recording with the other hand. That was so funny. That was a funny. It was just funny to see. So bare knuckle fighting. I don't know how this is gonna. It's gonna be bloody, man. Like I look, and this is a sparring session.
Do you like that type of thing? Do you watch it?
No. The last time The last time I watched bare knuckle fighting like that was when I was watching Kimbo Slice doing what he's doing back guarding brawls and shit. You know, when
I
he was
must
watching
admit,
Masvidal and them man, they're doing back guarding brawls and that. That's the last time I really got into bare knuckle fighting like that.
I agree with what Michael Bisping's saying when he said that to him, in his opinion, bare knuckle fighting is like it's taking the whole combat sports almost back to the old
It's purest. It's purest. You know, it's like getting a bag of cocaine and not chopping that fucker up with anything and taking that shit raw.
But at that point, is it even a sport though? Because that's not. It's like you say. It's almost like caveman stuff.
This caveman thing, bro. It's like grabbing a girl, man, and going bareback, but I don't do. You know what I mean? No protection whatsoever, brethren. You know, you don't know what's gonna come out of that shit. So nobody knows how this is gonna pan out, but it's gonna be interesting. But judging by what I saw on Lobo's face a day ago, he didn't look pretty, and that was just an sparring session. He did not look good, so it's gonna be bloody, man. It's gonna be bloody.
Let's be real here. As much as I can't stand Paulie and his big mouth when it comes to this stuff, he's gonna whoop his ass. Let's have it right. I mean, as much as this, you're not allowed kicks, you're not allowed elbows, so it's basically boxing with no gloves. So he's only going to favour one guy.
Yeah.
Paulie, surely. I mean, I know the only thing I'll say is that Paulie has been out the ring, I think, 2.5 years. So to me, I don't even understand this move.
I don't. It's a money move. It's a money move.
I didn't know that organization has money like that. I must admit.
Boy, I'm hearing Paulie is that broke. He just wants anything right now, but he'll take anything right now. And that's the word on the street. That's what they're saying, that Paulie is that broke. But how broke can you be to really want to go into bare knuckle? Like, you're looking at what Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz did for money. You're thinking, boy, how broke can you two be to be going back, beating the brakes off of each other like that? So, but money can make a lot of people do a lot of weird shit, man. And this one is definitely weird to me. But I will watch it if I can get a nice legal strings to watch it on. So we'll see how it goes.
all right.
If there's such thing as that, as Ty will say, other streams are available.
Of course, other streams are available. Just as a side thing for everyone listening on YouTube and on the download, just to let you know that obviously, just to briefly cover the fact that Lomachenko fought Anthony Crolla, destroyed Anthony Crolla in absolutely no shock to anybody, and is still the best boxer in the world. So, pound for pound for a reason. Let's be real here. So, it's no surprise that there's no disgrace really to Anthony Crolla. It is what it is. I don't think he really felt like he could win that fight. For me, he's been world champion and he's done very well. He had a couple of defenses, lost to, I forget the name of the guy now, who ironically enough got destroyed very recently, this guy as well. I think that's enough now. Call time on it. Move on. You did well. Yeah, just move on. So that's my opinion on that. And then obviously next weekend is the big weekend domestically, boxing-wise. So Derek Chisora fights, a big fight between Lucas Brown and Dave Allen, which I'm hoping Dave Allen is focused for, because I do believe he can win that fight. Because Lucas Brown is an old man these days. He's got power, but that's about it. I think if Dave Allen can focus, he can beat him. So let's see. Let's see.
I was gonna ask, did you get to watch Herb Dean on?
I watched bits of it. But he did. I did watch.
All right, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm gonna wait till
I did
we
watch
go
the
on the
clip
next time so we can talk about it.
I did watch the clip where he tried to explain the Ben Askren decision.
Yeah.
To be honest, let me be real with you, right? Even when I watched this the first time, I could completely understand why he stopped that fight.
Oh yeah, they got a job to do, man. They got a job
I
to
can
do.
understand. Selfishly, from a viewer's point of view, I saw the thumbs up. So I was wishing he would held on because I was enjoying the fight.
If you remember, Big Run when he fought Bigfoot, and it knocked him out, but John McCarthy didn't really stop him and allowed him to drop a next couple of hammer fists. He even kicked him. He kicked the ref. That he had. It's probably one of the reasons why the guy is not in the UFC anymore. So they get really, really pissed off about that type of stuff. They don't want the opponent to take more damage that they should take.
You used the old school reference, but look at Mario Yamazaki or whatever his name is. That man doesn't ref today because of the beating he allowed Shevchenko to give that poor girl. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it got hard to watch.
It was difficult to watch, yeah.
It was hard to watch at one point. So it's true when you say that. You know, sometimes we don't almost give these refs.
They can't win. They can't win. You know, if they stop too early, they get moaned at for stopping too early. If they stop it too late, they get stopped. You get moaned at for stopping too late. But I'd rather them do an early stoppage than a late stoppage, because that way the opponent at least lives another day to run that fight again. So, you know, they got a difficult job as it is. But Habdin is definitely is a ref that I really, really rate. Obviously, I had a little problem with him in the Conor fight because he let Conor get away with a lot of stuff. He did, and they pulled him up on that. So I let you, when you watch it, you see. Because Conor was using the cage. He had toes in the cage. He was grabbing the cage a lot. If you remember that Khabib Conor fight, he dug his toes in the cage, using it for leverage. He did so much madness, you know, that Habdin allowed him to get away with. So, you know, it's one of those things. Like I said, they got a difficult job as it is. The other thing that I got on my notes, just wanted to drop some dates on our viewers for upcoming events, because we just had a seasonal press conference where they bring on a lot of fighters, fighting on different dates, of course, but very, very important fights to look out for. So we got on the 20th of April, Mother Ferry, Happy Warrior. She's fighting Antonina Shevchenko, that's Shevchenko's sister, Valentina Shevchenko's sister. She's a Muay Thai specialist.
She's very good.
Evil as they come. But Shevchenko already said, you know, them two, and they're never going to cross paths in the octagon. So we're not going to be looking for a fight between both of them anytime soon. And on the same card, the main event, Overeem is fighting Olenek. Olenek is the guy that's a specialist in the Ezekiel choke. If you remember the Ezekiel choke, he's a proper specialist in that. He just chokes. He's the boa constrictor. They call it. It goes by the name of boa constrictor. So he's going to be fighting Alistair Overeem on that one. The week after that, we got Fight Night, April 28th. The Jacare de Souza is fighting Jack Hammerson. Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy is back again. Yeah. So Greg Hardy is back again. He's fighting Dmitry Somalyankov. Alex Cowboy Oliveira. Him and Mike Perry. Mike Perry's been calling him the Lizard, and he wants to put him out. So I don't know how to take Mike Perry.
That's quite a must-win for Mike Perry.
But he is the biggest troll going. He lost to Cerrone, so he needs to win this one.
Yeah, but he's had a few losses.
How funny will it be for him to lose to the white cowboy and the black cowboy, one after the other? That would be ironic, right? So, we'll see how that goes. Glover Teixeira is also on that card. He's fighting Ion Kutilaba, and John Lineker is also on that fight. And the week after that, we got the Brazil. That's the Brazil card. Rose Namajunas is main eventing that card with
She's
Jessica
gonna get
Andrade.
starched.
Oh
I'll tell
my
you that now.
God, bro! Did you see the last knockouts in her last fight? She knocked.
She
They
was
all.
Rose. I'll be real. If Rose can get through that, fair play.
Fair play to her, man. Like we said, Jared Cannonier is fighting Anderson Silva. Jose Aldo with Volkanovski. Nogueira is fighting Ryan Spann. And BJ Penn is also on that card fighting Clay. And the seasonal ones that we've got Thiago Santos on John Jones. So I'm just going to ask you for predictions as I call out the fights on that one. I'll get your prediction on the fights.
Okay.
And then I'll give mine as well. So first one on the card, Thiago Santos versus John Jones for July 6th.
John Jones in 3.
John Jones in 3. Okay. I'll go with John Jones as well. But I think it'll end in the first round. First round, John Jones. Next is Amanda Nunes, Holly Holmes, 6th of July.
I love Holly. I want to make that clear before I make this I love Holly.
Yeah.
I think she's gorgeous and I think she's a good fighter.
All of that.
She's going to get her ass whooped in this fight. And that Amanda Nunes is the best female fighter ever
of all time. So if you look at the people she's beat, her last 5 fights, Cyborg, Raquel Pennington, she's beat Ronda Rousey, she's beat Misha Tate. I mean, the people that she's put away. She beat Shevchenko twice, brethren.
Twice.
Yeah.
Even though I think the last one was a bit debatable.
Oh, it's a 5-rounder decision, but she beat Shevchenko twice.
She's beaten her twice.
So if you look at the people she's put away, I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be a difficult night for Holly Holmes. So she's saying Holly Holmes is the only champion or the only ex-champion that she hasn't beat yet, and she wants to add that to that list. And then running back with Cyborg and Ronda Rousey. And I think those 2 fights would be probably the money fight for her to ride into the sunset.
To ride into the sunset with a girl and then bounce.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. But let's keep an eye on it for Holly Holmes, and we both agree she's going to deal with Holly Holmes on this one. So the next one is also on July 6th. Yeah.
Do you think Ronda will come back? I doubt it.
I think she is, because I heard she's taking a break from WWE. She wants to take time out. And WWE is a very, very demanding schedule. They have to travel everywhere. They got to be on the road a lot. She's always got Travis Brown with her, so he's always on the road with her. But at the same time, if there's a big money fight, like she's feeling confident in her own skin to come back against someone like Amanda Nunes, it's a fight that I would like to see again. I want to see that fight. Who wouldn't? So yeah, I'd watch that, man, and I think it'd be a fantastic fight to watch. So I think there's a very, very good chance that she could come back. Dana White, he's got this power of persuasion, and he can do this thing, especially with someone like Ronda. He's been there before. I remember the Eskimo brother thing, man. Brendan Sharp.
I do agree. I think she may feel like, listen, I don't want to end my career on those 2 losses. I can't see her fighting Amanda Nunes again. No? I mean, unless the P is ridiculous.
The money has to be right. It has to make sense for both of them, and that's why I think Nunes is putting that fight into the atmosphere now and letting Dana White know that she'd be interested in that fight. And I think they could break pay-per-views records with that fight. That's how big that fight's gonna be. Imagine they're talking about Brock coming back to fight DC, Ronda Rousey coming back from WWE to fight Amanda Nunes. That could break pay-per-view records.
I know. These WWE guys, honestly, they just jump the queue Getting title shots here and there.
Yeah, man. These are big names. So their names, their names bring eyeballs, and once you drop their names into something, people are going to want to watch it. So and that's why it's motivated by that, and that's how they jump queues. They jump all the queues. So yeah. So the next fight on the same day. I mean, this fight this card is so stacked. July 6th is one that I have to get day off for work just to watch this one. Is Masvidal Askren again on the 6th of July.
Oh yeah, I must admit I might take that Monday off. I know the fight will happen on a Saturday,
Yeah,
but I need some recovery sleep time.
serious.
That fight is going to be a good one.
And both of them coming off the back of Lola and Darren Till, respectively. So who you looking on that? Who you backing on that one?
Ooh, this one is hard because I must admit, right? I didn't think Askren was going to come in so fight limited. Like I knew he was wrestler based only, but I thought coming into the UFC, training with Tyron now as part of the same company, I thought to myself, all right, Tyron might give us some tips with boxing because you can't just steam in there trying to double leg someone and think it's going to work. But that's exactly what he did against Lawler, and I was like, oh no. And I think if he does that to Masvidal, I think that could be a wrap for him. So I'm actually going to pick Masvidal to shock the world and beat Askren.
Okay.
Beat Askren in 3 as well. And I don't mean points. I mean he'll probably knock him out because Askren will be desperate, and then I think Masvidal will do the job and get the job done.
Okay, I'll go with Askren on this one. I'm going to ride with Askren again. I know he got lucky with Lola.
Yeah, man.
If you look on again the Herb Dean interview with Joe Rogan, he said he was this close to stopping it when fucking Robbie Lola was pounding Askren. He said he ain't never seen somebody take that much punishment in that little spell there. He said he was this close to stopping it.
You took I remember screaming at the screen like, oh my gosh, what is going on?
So that interview is really, really interesting to watch. So when you get time, definitely watch the whole thing, man. He dropped some insights about going to Dagestan, where Khabib is from, and the amount of killers that they got in that in that little village. It's crazy to him. He talked about some of the stuff that what Khabib says to people while he's beating the fuck out of them in the octagon. He gave a real insight on what Khabib actually says to people. So yeah, it's nice to hear things from the referee's perspective on fighters. So yeah, it's a really good watch. So if people didn't watch that, go, definitely go and watch it. After you watch this one, though, after you watch this video. And JDS versus Francis Ngannou. Junior Dos Santos. And they're both coming back off of the title Ivasa and Derek Lewis. JDS beat Derek Lewis, and Ngannou beat Cain Velasquez and Curtis Blade.
I'm going to be honest.
Again on July 6th.
I want Francis to win.
So do I.
I hope I'm wrong, but I've got a feeling JDS will beat him. And I had that feeling when the fight was originally scheduled as well. And it's not changed. I hope I'm wrong. Francis, if by some miracle you're watching this, I hope, brother, you prove me wrong. It's just, I think, to me, JDS has more tools. Not to say that I think he's better than Cain Velasquez. I just think Cain Velasquez is rusty, straight up. Whereas with JDS, I just think he has more tools than Francis.
Everybody has more tools in the box than Francis. If you've got wrestling and you've got stand-up, you already got more tools in the box than Francis. The only thing you have to avoid is make sure Francis doesn't catch you. If he catches you, it's over. Look at Curtis Blades. He's definitely got more. He's got more tools in the box than Francis. Francis beat him twice.
True.
So I wouldn't really hold that against Francis, and
I just think
he only needs to catch you once.
It's easier to plan for Francis than it is to plan for JDS.
Yeah.
Because I know JDS likes to bang. Let's be real. It would be suicide to do that with Francis. And he'll know that. So what he'll probably try and replicate is the Stipe kind of way of fighting. So he'll be prepared to take some shots if it means he can pin him, go to work on him.
Seriously, what you just made a fantastic point that it will be suicide to go and stand and bang with Francis, because the people that have done that against somebody that's so similar to Francis in the power in their power in their arms is Jimmy Manua and Blankovic against Thiago Santos. If you want to stand and bang with some, when you've got other tools to use against what their strength is, you want to stand and bang in front of them, then I'm going to pray for you. That's all I can say. So, but I'm going for Francis. I know you're going for Francis as well, just because we root for our people like that. So, I'm a roll with Francis on this one. Next one is Anthony Smith and Gustafsson, both coming off the loss.
This one is a genuine pick and fight. I actually don't know. I gotta admit, I don't know, because if this was old Gus, I'd say Gus blazes him. But I'm not sure there's much of old Gus left. I was really disappointed in his performance against Jones. I didn't think Jones was gonna bully him, and I don't even think Jones was that great.
I think Jones just does that to people, though. Don't you think? He just does that thing to people, man. I don't know what he does to them.
I was really disappointed in him. I must admit, and for him, I don't know what he really does now, because he's had 2 shots at Jones and failed twice. So to me, I think he's almost got to be the gatekeeper in a way.
Yeah.
He's got to play that gatekeeper.
And it sucks being the gatekeeper, man. Sucks being the gatekeeper.
Oh, yeah. But he's going to have to do that for a bit until he can get another shot at Jones, or hope that by some miracle somebody beats Jones and then he can have a shot at them. But
because I think if Thiago Santos doesn't get it done against Jones, I think he'll want Gustafsson just to prove a point that he can get near Jones. I think Gustafsson could be his next fight. And that's why it sucks being a gatekeeper for that division. That division is lethal, mate. You know what I mean? They got some mad fighters in there. And Luke Rockhold is just coming there as well. And he'll want some of Gustafsson.
I still expect Anthony Smith to lose that fight. Just because I just think Gus has more tools than him. I know that Anthony Smith is supposed to be this jiu-jitsu guy, but from everything I've seen of him at lightweight, he either blazes people or he loses to John Jones.
If you look
at lightweight, so
because if you look at that division up until DC left, it was Jones, DC, and Gustafsson.
Gus. Yeah.
And those were the 3 guys that really nobody could get past those.
But my only doubt is whether or not there's anything left of that old Gus. Because if there isn't, then of course Anthony Smith will win. But I still think there's a little bit left. Unfortunately, I think he'll be the gatekeeper. I could see, let me predict some fights now. I could see Anthony Smith losing that fight and someone like Johnny Walker challenging Anthony Smith. And he almost becomes the secondary gatekeeper, if you like.
Yeah.
People kind of go through.
Very, very, very possible. Very possible.
So I think that if I'm Dana, you look at Johnny Walker, you think superstar. Cool. How do I make this possible? Oh, Anthony Smith, perfect fight. And that's the gatekeeper to your Gus. Oh, Gus, perfect gatekeeper fight for a John Jones. And let's be real, if you're preparing for a John Jones fight, Gus is that kind of lanky, awkward, kicky style that is John Jones. So to me, that's how you build those stars, because they've got a couple of stars in that division that, marketed right, they could be good challengers for John Jones. And I still think Johnny Walker's the man to beat him.
He's got a tough test in front of him for now. In Thiago Santos is a definite tough. It's a tough nut to crack, and it'll be interesting to see how Jones gets it done. We both say we both gone with Jones, but there could be a surprise waiting for us, and we could hear Anu. So, it'll be very interesting to see.
He can bang. I'll give him that. He can bang.
Definitely got a puncher's chance on him. Henry Cejudo versus Marlon Moraes.
Moraes.
That's June the 8th.
Moraes.
The week after Gustafsson.
Moraes is a beast. Moraes.
Okay.
He's chat waiting to happen. Moraes is a beast.
But let's not dismiss Cejudo. Let's not dismiss Cejudo beating Dimitri Johnson and TJ Dillashaw.
Cejudo is the best in the 125 division, but he's stepping up. And yes, I understand what people are going to say now, but Chig, you just said that whenever people step up, they're better. Yeah, I understand that. But have you seen Moraes? My man,
Moraes is a murderer, man.
Like somebody built it from granite.
He's evil, and he really can take punches. He knows the game. Is a level. I think his level of fighting is above Henry. But
to be fair, though,
but Henry is gonna come with that wrestling, man.
To be fair, though, Ola, if this fight was Moraes versus TJ, I think TJ loses.
Yeah,
juiced up or not, I think he loses.
It's difficult for me, man. I rock with TJ so bad, and I can't believe. Like, I'm even thinking about TJ in this light, man. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I gotta look at this objectively, and I have to agree with you that Moraes wins this fight. I think he beats Cejudo, but I don't want to dismiss what Cejudo can do in this fight. I think it'll be a really, really tough fight. I think it'll be a close one. I think it'll be tougher than what people think is gonna be, but ultimately, I think Marlon Moraes wins this fight.
And don't get me wrong, listen, Cejudo's CV is starting to look real good when you think that he's beating
DJ and TJ. That's crazy.
So, but these were at 125. That Moraes guy is honestly, I think he can step up to 145. I really can.
Yeah.
And I just think he's a different level to these guys. And I see him beating, like, I like Benjamin Sterling. I rate him too. I think he loses to Moraes. I think all of these guys.
That's Matera's boy. Yeah?
Oh, is it Ben Sterling? Was it Alistair Sterling?
Oh, Jermaine Sterling.
Jermaine. Okay, yeah.
Jermaine Sterling. Yeah, that's Matera's boy. Yeah. He's a badass.
Yeah.
He's a badass. It'll be nice to see what happens there. Next one on the agenda is T Wood versus Robbie Lawler, April 29th. Coming off the back of Askren and T Wood, Usman and Till.
I think. Don't get me wrong. I think Tyron will win, but a beating like that, honestly, can leave scars. It can leave mental scars, or because he took a whooping. I must admit, even if I thought, and I picked Tyron over Usman, but even if I thought Usman could win, I never thought he'd win like that. He absolutely, the wrestling version of being starched. He's starched with him, absolutely suffocated him. So if he's gun shy as a result of that kind of thing is not. Lawler is not the guy you want to face if you want to be gun shy.
No.
So
I think Lawler wants revenge on losing the title to him, and on top of that, it wants to punish Wood for Askren. Wood might take Askren's fucking ass whooping. So it's gonna be a crazy one. Very interesting to watch. It's happening in 2 weeks. It's a fight that is a must-see fight. And everybody's going to be watching that. And if Woodley wants to get back ultimately to Usman, we already knew it, that Woodley's path to Usman, it's not going to be an easy one because Dana White is going to chuck killers at him. He's just going to throw killers after killers after killers. It's not going to give Woodley no easy fight to get back to Usman.
Nah. I mean, his coach said it himself that if Woodley loses that title, he may as well retire.
Yeah.
Because of White's ridiculous hatred towards Woodley. So if Woodley needs a good performance here, really, to make the argument that he needs the next title shot, I think he deserves the next title shot. Whether he'll get it is another question. Don't get me wrong, deserves the next title shot after Colby. I mean, listen, I don't like Colby. At this point, the man deserves a title shot.
Speaking about Colby, and gatekeepers, as we call it just now, RDA is welcoming Kevin Lee to welterweights for the first time.
this is interesting because
Kevin Lee's just coming back off the back of Barboza and Ala Quinta, and RDA lost to Colby and Usman. Talking about gatekeepers.
Kevin Lee reminds me of Arsenal because it depends what Kevin Lee you get. If we get the Kevin Lee that showed up, what was the fight he last won?
Barboza. Barboza was the last fight he won.
If we get that guy, he'll blaze RDA.
Yeah, but then you could get Kevin Lee that fought Ala Quinta.
Exactly. You'll lose to RDA. One time. You'll lose. So it really depends. I'm hoping that with the step up in weight, because I know he struggles to get to 155.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping
that's his reasoning for coming to 170.
Yeah. So because I know he's got a big mouth, so I don't really tend to listen to what he says. So let's just take his word for the fact that the weight cut does play a part in this, and we are going to see a better Kevin Lee. If we see Barboza Kevin Lee anywhere near Barboza Kevin Lee, he blazes RDA. But that's only because I think RDA is the gatekeeper at this point. Let's be real, and that's why the fight was made, because I think Dana White recognizes that Kevin Lee is still young enough. I think he's still 20. I think he's 27.
Yeah, it's 26, 27. There's a lot of potential there. He's got a lot of fight left.
So much potential there. If you can just talk less and focus more, he'd be so good.
From what he said, he definitely wants to leave his options open between 170 and 155. He wants to juggle between both divisions, and wherever the options are for him, he's definitely gonna welcome it. So, but we'll see how he gets on with RDA.
We'll see a good performance from him, and he'll decide to leave 155.
Yeah,
I don't see him going back.
And the last one is Al Aquinta versus Cowboy Cerrone.
What
May
a 4th fight that is!
May 4th.
That could be my favorite fight on the card. Yeah. I really could. They both kind of remind me of style-wise.
They throw caution to the wind, both of them.
Yeah, that's what a fun fight that is. You've got Donald Cerrone, who, quite frankly, is rolling years back with his performances, and then you've got Ala Quinta, who everybody underestimates because of the way he looks like. I honestly didn't.
Let's not forget, this guy is an office clerk.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I think that's why people underestimate him. People think, oh, well, you're the property guy, you're the estate agent, so I'm going to underestimate you. But he's a beast in his own way. He's a
beast.
For that reason, it will come down to work rate. Now, I know both have great engines, but I also think age will play a factor. And for that reason, only by a nose, I do think Ala Quinta will get the nod, a decision nod.
Okay. And I want to go with Cowboy, but these guys are so unpredictable. It's a toss of a coin. I mean, but one thing we're going to be guaranteed to get, and I'll predict this today. May 4th, this fight is. I predict both of these guys will get fight of the night bonus. That's how much I think they're both going to bring it. I think both of them are going to get fight of the night bonus. I don't know which way it's going to go. I want it to be Donald But you know, I like both fighters, and
I like both fighters.
I'm rooting for both of them, and
Yeah,
I think they're going to bring the entertainment, man. So yeah,
that's the
definitely rooting for that.
sit back and watch and not really mind who wins, because I think it'll be a fun fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
So that concludes my notes, and yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. Take us out.
Yeah, for me, I'm sure we'll do at least a couple more shows before.
Oh yeah, we're gonna revisit some of these fights that we talked about. But yeah,
and
we'll it's good to put the dates out.
In terms of big boxing news, probably the next major fight now is the AJ Miller fight, which I'm sure we'll do a couple more shows before we get to that point, which is on the 1st of June. But yeah, I think for now, guys, I'll tell you what, I always promise that we'll review these shows and we never get around to it. We'll do it. Hopefully, we'll see if we do it later on tonight. I will try and make effort. I will make effort today.
10 minutes.
Because he knows he'll be up either way because he'll always be working. But I will try.
I'm a vampire. I'm always up at them times of the morning, man.
So either way, either we'll do it straight after the fight, or we'll do it a bit later.
Next day.
Ola's come back from work. So we'll let you know tomorrow. I may do another show with Ola anyway, which is the football-related show.
Oh yeah, people are asking already in the chat. I don't know if you see.
Yeah, Watford versus Arsenal. Don't worry, we got you guys. So we may invite someone on. I've been trying to invite Sadia on for ages. That girl is
she's mega busy, man. She runs her own business and all that, man. So
okay,
that's what it is. She's so busy like that.
She feels bad now in the Arsenal.
So the only time that she gets off, she probably goes to watch the games, especially the ones at home. So that's why is it. Because it's in London. Yeah. So it's difficult. It's difficult for us. So I can understand why. It's not so much of blowing people off, but it's all like VP75 always says, and I don't mean to go off at him sometimes, but it's like, are you gonna be on the show with Chig? I'm like, bro, it's not my show. I'm usually a guest. Yeah, I'm a family. I'm a friend of the show. I'm a family of the show, not even a friend of the show. But it's still up to Chig who he calls, who he invites, who he puts on. And even on top of that, to make it even more difficult, Chig has got to work around our work schedules and our home life schedules, and if we've got family around, and there's so much that goes. We don't just appear on live shows and just do shows. We've got to work around a lot of things. And that's people don't tend to understand that.
People always will express opinions on who they want on the show. So I get a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, why don't you have ordinary fans on the show?" In my very, very early stages, I did that, and it didn't work so well for me. I know, like, people either complained or people came on and said inappropriate shit, or even worse, people came on and didn't say anything at all. So normally, what I try and do is I always say to people, listen, I like to see what you've done first to know how you'll contribute to the show, so that if you aren't someone that talks so much, and then we put you with someone who does, and then at least you can contribute. And a good example of that is Lewis. Now, obviously, I know Lewis because I've met Lewis in person before.
Yeah.
But Lewis is not someone that necessarily likes to be front and center. So I like to put him with talkers so that he can then kind of ad-lib and contribute in between that. That's how a good host does things. So
I've always said you're one of the best in the business, man. People need to start giving respect and understand. You know what I mean? Real recognize real men.
Listen, all I would say to people is this, right? For me, I will never claim myself to be bigger or better than anybody, but no one will outthink me when it comes to this. No one. If I've not done it yet, it's because I don't have the means to do it. It ain't because I've not thought of doing it. So no one will outthink me when it comes to the show. So for me, it's all about balance. I love having Ola on. I love having Lee on, right? People love me and Lee on together. People love me and Ola on together. People love all of us three together. People sometimes
there's always a mad one.
So people sometimes hate Leon because of the things that he likes to talk about. You know, sometimes it's all about balance. So
it's a mixture.
People do bear in mind if you're asking for someone on the show.
Salute to VP again. He's just put another $2 in the super chat.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
You now understand why you know I'm not always on the show when you want me to be on the show. Everything it's based around a lot of things. A lot of moving parts have to happen to get us on the show.
And Ola knows. I'll often ask Ola, so what's your work then? Yeah. Because I know he drives a lot, and I know he goes up and down all over the place, which is why, for example, even this UFC boxing show that we do is sometimes sporadic because it depends on a few things. When the boxing fight is on or when the UFC's fight's on, is Ola working on the Sunday? When does he come back on the Sunday?
Yeah.
So these sort of things we've always got to try and work out, but we never forget you guys. That's the most important.
Yeah, the most important things. And thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with us. And thank everybody that supported this show since we started doing it. I know we don't do it enough, but that's mitigating circumstances, not because we don't want to. But, you know, thank you for sticking with us. And we're going to bring more content to you guys in relation to this show.
Let the people know where they can find you, brother.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at Black Scorpion 3. You can also find me on Instagram at Black Scorpion 3. I love talking about combat sports, as you've seen on the show today. It's what I love talking about. I love talking about football. Those are my sports. So yeah, holler at me on there. We'll talk. The only time you don't see me active on Twitter is when I'm working, because I can't drive and use the phone at the same time. But I see everybody else. I see what people are doing. I respond, I like, I retweet certain stuff when I got the time to do it. But a lot of the times when I'm not active on Twitter, it's only because I'm working, not because I'm being ignorant or not or ignoring people.
Yeah.
So yeah, just link me on those and we can engage in some very nice conversation. Do not like to talk about politics, so don't bring politics on my social media, please.
Yeah. And for me, you can follow me on Twitter at Colossal Chig. That's CHIG. You can follow me on Instagram, Guna_Eagle_I1. You can support the show as VP generously has very recently by giving donations either in the super chat or failing that. I've got a Patreon in the link in the description below for the YouTube rosters. If you are watching on the download, which is also on SoundCloud and iTunes, then get on my YouTube channel, baby. Guna_Eagle_I1. Hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up so it gets the show notice and gets us attention. We'll be back tomorrow, definitely to do some sort of football show. Hopefully also do a review. We'll attempt to stay up and watch the fight. And we'll see if my sleepy ass will allow me. But until then, we'll catch you later. Take care.
Salutes.